Okay, we're recording. We are recording. Okay, so we got Jessica and we have Shannon, we have Liz and Justin so far. So, can everybody hear me okay? We're doing all right? Thumbs up, maybe something like that, whatever. I don't know, like this, maybe. Okay, here we go. We got Victoria, we got Shauna. Okay, we're going to get started here. There we go. Okay, so hopefully everybody had a good week. We have been running like crazy since about a week and a half ago, and we're still running. Just flew into the house from Terre Haute, and that's just the way life is right now for us. So anyway, it's awesome to have all of you guys. This is the last Zoom that we're going to have for the Make Silver Simple challenge. This will be the last drawing we're going to have tonight for those who got their assignments done. And I apologize. I paid for some really expensive Wi-Fi on the cruise ship. And it seems like the only time we had great Wi-Fi was when we did the Zoom the other night. And besides that, I had trouble. We'd post something and maybe a day or so later it would go through. It was so anyway, I apologize about that. But so this is the last one. I'm going to go over the assignments that were for this week real quick. But before I do that, does anybody have anything to share? Anything on your mind, anything on your heart, any sort of victory? I got you, Shauna. Yeah, Liz, go ahead.
One thing, it was like a picture saying, post where you met me using the little GIF pictures, a little GIF, I don't know how you call it, but it actually has been shared by like over 5,000 people. Like some, I don't know, friends of friends, and then other random people shared it. So now I'm getting friend requests from random people. I'm kind of like skipping the guys because I don't know what their deal is, but I'm like, okay, I'll friend the ladies I post publicly anyway, so what difference does it make? And if they act weird, I'll just ban them. But I was like, this could be good for business, and who knew? It was just somebody's old memory that had that picture in it, and I just shared it. It was weird. So, I don't know. Also, some pretty good response from the challenge. I've got somebody who's real interested in doing that, so that's a good thing.
Is that the weight loss challenge, the 2-week weight loss challenge? Okay.
Yeah, somebody, again, that I was afraid to message, that I wouldn't have reached out to, that I was like, I don't know, I don't want to talk to her, and then boom, she's like, hey, right. I'm in, I want to do this. Can we do it? Can we wait to start until November 10th? I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll get a group together and we'll start then. But I said, I'm going to go ahead and get mine because I think it's going to sell out. So I'm like, I don't want to pressure you, but they're talking about it could sell out, and I don't want you to be like missing out on it. She's like, oh yeah, I better get it sooner. She hasn't yet, but hopefully soon.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think that's great. Anything that's going to help you to connect with people. So anything, like that post you were talking about, and you're gaining some new friends. Keep your eye on some of the people you don't know. If they get a little goofy, just unfriend them, block them, whatever. Listen, whatever tool we can use that will help us talk to more people, use it. We live in a time, if you think about this, we live in a time where we have Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and all sorts of tools that we can use. And let me just tell you real quick, these tools are free. These tools are free for the using. Okay, so don't be afraid to use them. I use them up one side and back down the other. and I'm getting better at using them. I'm learning. So anything you can do to connect with more people, I say go for it. So anybody else? Who else has a something that they share from this week? Anything? Or anything from, well, specifically just this week, the assignments this week, just a few things that, assignments that there were. Anybody have anything to share?
Justin, I have something that's not from the assignments because my work schedule's been goofy and I'm behind.
Sure.
But I was in a conversation with some people and heard someone say something about, yeah, I'm going to start working out and I'm going to start taking Plexus, and they were being very mocking in their tone of voice. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, I can never share Plexus with this small group of people because they think negative. And then somehow that girl and I, like 3 or 4 days later, got in a conversation about, and I was telling her that, well, I'm drinking my pink drink because it balances my hormones. And she's like, balances hormones? I need that. Who do you get your Plexus from? And I haven't sold her yet, but she's like, I made an assumption that I never should have made. And it was a good learning tool, a good learning moment for me.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think we should never write anybody off. Sometimes some of the biggest critics in the world become some of the greatest, some of the biggest critics of not just Plexus, but of anything. Some of the biggest critics in the world become some of the greatest pushers of the thing they once criticized. Yeah, the Apostle Paul is a great example of that, and I'm a great example. There's several things that I never wanted anything to do with. One was Christianity, and now, I'm not comparing myself to the Apostle Paul, but I was, now I'm proud to be a Christian. Same with network marketing for me. I hated it. I didn't want anything to do with it. And now I think it's the greatest, I think it's the greatest industry on the planet. And I think a couple things about that, and we can all learn from this, I think, is that one is I didn't have good examples of either. I didn't have good necessarily Christian examples growing up. They were the same. They were doing the same things I was doing. I figured, why do I need what they have? I'm just as good. I'm actually a little bit better than half of them. Why do I need that? And I think the same thing with Plexus, our network marketing, is the way I think that there's two things that we need to be successful in network marketing. One is that we need to choose the right company. If you're on this call, you have chosen the right network marketing company. I've seen many come and go. I'm talking about companies. Since I've been in Plexus, I've seen many companies come and go. Plexus is still around 10 years later, still moving towards the $1 billion mark. Those are both good things. But so to be successful in this business, you need to choose the right company. And the second thing you need to do is you need to choose to be a professional network marketer in the way that we present our products, in the way that we present and represent our company, in the way that we represent our compensation plan, and the way that we represent our industry. Those girls might have been mocking because of the way. Okay, I have no idea what just happened there. Okay, can everybody hear me? Let's try this again. So, there we go. So what I was saying is that in this industry, I think you need two things, and this has to do with what that lady was criticizing Plexus about. One is you need to choose the right company. We've all chosen the right company. And the second thing is we need to choose to be a professional network marketer. If you have a problem with network marketing, you're in the wrong business, because this is a network marketing company. So the sooner we realize that and we're okay with being a network marketer, the faster your business will take off. A lot of times I think we apologize for what we're doing. Why? What's there to apologize about? How about this? Instead of apologizing for someone else's bad behavior or slimy representation of Plexus or this industry, why don't we go and change the face of the industry? That's one of my goals, is I want to show people that this is a viable industry. This is an industry where people of integrity can come and not have to worry about their name being tarnished. So I think the way that we represent Plexus and the way we represent this industry is very important. And the lady that you were talking about, Kathy, it's very possible that someone represented Plexus in a really bad and slimy way to her. So you have a responsibility to love that woman and to show her that our company indeed is different, and that, you know, we have something that she needs and that can really help her. So we need to represent well. We need to represent well. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah. So let's see. Anybody else? Anybody else have anything from the assignments or anything else we want to talk about before I start going over the assignments from this last week? No? Nobody?
Just that reaching out really does help. It does work. I've got appointments with 2 people to sit down and talk about Plexus. They wanted to sit down over coffee. I'm like, yeah, sure. You know, so I don't have anything right now immediately, but it gets things moving in the right direction, I think. It's actually like doing the IPA, like doing the work. Go figure it. It works. Just like when the doctor says, eat less and exercise more and you lose weight, that works too. Mm. Who knew? Like common sense stuff, you know? It's just hard to get beyond it. Like I struggled with the whole thing with the weight loss challenge. Like if I reach out to somebody, are they going to be like, does she think I'm fat? You know, is she like, but what I said was, I'm doing this. Do you want to do it with me? You know? And it seemed easier that way because I need to lose a little bit more weight. And I'm like, you know, I just figure with the holidays coming up, I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. So but at first I was like, ooh, like how do I approach that without being, you know, without somebody going, seriously? You know, not that bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. You have to reach out. I mean, it's the stuff that we've shared, guys, is the stuff we've learned over the last 3 or 4 weeks is what needs to happen. So it's not an issue of knowledge at this point for anybody on this call. It's an issue of actually doing the things. If we reach out to 100 people, we can sign up probably 5 out of that 100 and maybe more over time. So let that sink in for a minute. So, I mean, one of the differences between Megan and I is that she's been told no more than I have. And one of the differences between me and you isn't that I have a leg up on you. It's not that I have a secret sauce. I don't have a secret message or a secret whatever weapon. I've been told no more than you guys. So it's you have to do the things. It's not a knowledge thing. Usually it's an action problem. And then the reason, if it's an action problem and you're not really reaching out, if you already know everything to do, but you're not reaching out, then you have to dig a little deeper and find out, why am I not reaching out? Is it because I'm afraid? Is it a fear issue? Is it a belief issue? I don't believe in the products. Is it, you have to kind of figure out what that issue is. But you have to reach out. Exactly, Liz. You have to, and it takes a lot of people. Americans hate sales. We might be the only culture on the face of the planet that hates sales. A salesman won't even put salesman on his business card or her business card. We just don't like, go to a market in another country. You'd be bartering and, back and forth, and Americans will just freeze up like, I'll just pay full price, and get out of there. But we don't. I'm going to teach my kids how to go door to door and sell. I want them to know how to make a sale, how to read a person, how to talk to a person, how to present something, how to smile, how to make eye contact, all these things. Because as a culture, we just do not like to do it. And, but I think our culture, would change if we had a class in school that made people go door to door and you had to sell 10 items before you graduated. We'd have a completely different business atmosphere. So I'm going to make my kids do it because I'm in charge of their school, and whatever. They're just going to have to do it. So I think it'll be good for them. So anyway, plus it builds a lot of character. What we do exposes a lot of stuff. I was on a call last night with a group of people. I think I was the only guy, and I think there might have been 65 women on the call, but that's fine. I took the challenge, and and I said that this business exposes a lot of things in us. It exposes a lot of fears. It exposes a lot of insecurities. It just exposes a lot of things. And that's why we don't like sales, I think, a lot of times. We don't want to be exposed. But that's where the growth is. When you look in the mirror and then you see what the issues are, and this business will it'll reveal a lot of issues you didn't know you had, which is a good thing, to grow. But yeah, you have to reach out, Liz. That's right. And 95% of the people that we reach out to, maybe 90%, I don't have it broke down exactly, say no or just don't even respond. So, it just takes massive action. It takes massive action to start this thing, get this thing moving forward. Okay, who else? Anybody else have anything before we talked about the assignments? No?
What kind of things do you recommend for doing follow-up after you've talked to somebody?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. It depends on my relationship with the person, and it depends on what my last conversation was with them. I don't have like a blanket statement or something that I do. I base everything off of how our conversation went. So if I have someone that's interested and maybe they're just busy, they say, hey, I'm really busy right now, but I'm really interested. One thing I'll do is I'll send them a message back and I'll say, hey, do you mind if I follow up with you in 1 week from today? Next Thursday at 3:00, I'll send you a message, a follow-up message that'll give you some time to get your busyness out of the way and read maybe what I've sent you or taste the samples that I sent you. Do you mind if I follow up with you in 1 week? That's one thing that has been effective. And then you have to make absolute sure you follow up with them in 1 week. So, don't forget about it. Make sure you write it down, and schedule the follow-up. And sometimes I just feel like, sometimes I think you can feel in a conversation when you're talking to someone, you can kind of see if it's going in a good direction or not, or if they're kind of blowing you off. It's a lot harder on Messenger and social media than it is in person. That's why I like to, anytime I can make an in-person meeting with somebody, that's what I prefer, because you can start to see eye contact. Are they really engaged? Are they stuttering? Are they trying to get out of the door? I mean, you can face-to-face is so much better. But the follow-ups, it just depends on how the conversation's going. If the person's interested, then I'll follow up within a week. If the person's not interested or they said no, I might say something like, if someone, okay, let's say I reach out to Kathy. I say, Kathy, hey, I'd love to share Plexus with you. This has done some great things with this. Are you familiar with it? She says, I'm not interested. I'm okay, that's great. I get that. And I don't just say, okay, thanks, and leave her alone, because we said no for 1.5 years to Plexus. Megan and I did. We were like, no way. We don't want anything to do with that stuff. So what I do, I stay positive, and I might ask him, hey, do you mind if do you know anybody? I might even ask for a referral. Ask him for a referral. Do you know anybody that these products or this business opportunity might help? I mean, the worst they can say is no again. They've already told you no. I mean, it's not like, they probably weren't sending you a Christmas card anyway. So what do you have to lose? They might know somebody that really could benefit from the products or from, from the business opportunity. So don't be afraid to ask for a referral if they say no. And don't be afraid to ask, hey, do you mind if I follow up with you again in 6 months? And then put them on a list. Make a second list, a follow-up list. You have a reach out list, and then you have a follow-up list. And write them down and write the date down. And then be sure to follow up with them in 6 months. This is a long-term game. This is not a short-term sign 5 people up and then you are on Robin Leach's Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. This is a campaign, so and people still come to us a couple years later saying stuff, hey, I think I'm ready to try this Plexus stuff now. So don't be afraid to ask for a referral. If they don't, here's the way, and that's if they say no. Don't be afraid to ask for a referral. Tell them thanks, thank them for their time, ask them for a referral, and ask them if you can follow up with them again and reach back out to them in 6 months. Most people will say sure, because they figure you're going to forget about it. Why? Because most people in this industry are in sales or slimy, and they're not people of integrity, but we are. So we're going to make sure we follow up with them in 6 months. Let's say I reach out to Kathy, and she just doesn't respond at all. So here's what I do with that. I treat Kathy, she stays on my reach out list because I've not yet made contact with her. So what I'll do is maybe I'll wait a month for her and then I'll reach back out, right? So, I'm not going to reach out to her every day. Well, she didn't respond today, so I'll call her back tomorrow. And that would drive me nuts. So I'll give him some time, and then maybe over a month, I might send another message back out, until I make contact, until I know where she's at. Okay, then I'll go from there. Does that make sense? Does that help at all? Yeah, maybe. Hopefully. Some of these things you're just going to have to kind of feel your way through. It depends on how the conversation's going, really. And you're not going to get every one of them right. Give yourself permission to fail. Okay? You have permission to fail, but you don't have permission to stay down when you fall or when you fail. You have to get back up. You have to learn your lessons, and then you do it better the next time. I can't give you every single word to say because I still mess up and I still miss opportunities. And I think, man, why did I say that? This was like a give me. Well, I missed a huge opportunity here. That person's been on my mind for 2 months and then he or she just signed up with another company. Why didn't I reach out to them? So, some of these things, the best way to get good at this is to do it. And, and you're going to learn as you go, a lot of it. And that's kind of the fun part too. So don't be afraid to just put yourself out there, and you have permission to not get every one of them right. Shauna, where are you at? I see your hand raised. Is that a question? I don't know what the Shauna Fink's raised hand means.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just had a quick question or opinion on, or wanted your opinion more so, blatantly asking someone who you've been chatting with, conversating with, who's showing some interest, just point blank putting it out there, what's holding you back, putting them on the spot. How do you feel about that? Is that a little too strong? I know you said that you need to kind of feel people out, can't treat every situation the same, but sometimes I really feel like asking that question, but I don't, because I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable.
Well, what works for one person may not work for the next. Once again, you have to kind of feel, some of these things you just learn as you go, but I don't have a problem with closing a deal. If someone's interested, it depends on the relationship, but I wouldn't be afraid to ask, so we ready to sign up or what? And here's one thing I want to say. A lot of times we'll put off closing a deal. A lot of times we'll put off asking someone if they're ready to get started or what. And here's why. We're afraid. We're afraid to ask the question. But they're sitting there. They're ready to sign up. They're ready. They're showing interest. Ask them. You ready to sign up or what? We ready to close this thing? What's up? We ready to... You ready to hit the health goals or not? I mean, you came to me. We're talking. You answered my call. You know what I'm doing here. So we doing this thing or what? Now you might not use that same verbiage, but you know what I'm saying. You might just have to. One thing in this business is we need to learn when to close. We need to learn when to close our mouth and just ask, you ready to sign up or what? So yeah, I think you should ask. Once again, if it's fear that's holding you back from reaching out, if it's fear that's holding you back from following up, if it's fear that's holding you back from asking someone if they're ready to get going or not, if that's what's holding you back, then I would just do it, whatever that it is. Don't let fear hold you back. Life's too short for all that stuff. Let's see, is there a good video, Buck, you can recommend on how to close? I would recommend a book by a guy named Presley Swaggerty, and it's called Millionaire by Halftime. Millionaire by Halftime. He is a multi-millionaire network marketer. His kids are millionaire network marketers. I mean, they know what they're talking about. His daughter's able to chase her country music career and dream because of network marketing. I mean, he knows what he's talking about. That's kind of like the nuts and bolts of network marketing, I would say. Millionaire by Halftime by Presley Swaggerty. And if you want a real hardcore guy who is not in network marketing but does talk about how to close, well, there's a guy you can find on YouTube named Grant Cardone, Cardone. He is rough, and he and I do not have all the same worldviews, our views about life, but he is a very successful human being, and over 30 plus years of sales, he has learned how to close a deal. But I would go with the Millionaire by Halftime first, is what I absolutely recommend. Grant Cardone, Anyway. So, anybody else have anything? At all? I'm going to try to find the assignments here. So I'm just going to go over these assignments. We've talked about some of them already. And one thing I wanted to share with you guys too is that the other day, Megan had the opportunity to talk to people who won the Leaders Retreat cruise. She was on stage and she did a killer job. She was the best person on stage. And I'm not being biased. It's completely unbiased opinion. She absolutely killed it. Her stage presence was awesome, and I was so proud of her. But the things that she shared with those leaders in Plexus on that boat are the same things that we learned throughout this Make Silver Simple challenge. She didn't give them anything other than what we talked about. It's just an issue of doing them and doing them consistently. What the assignments were for this week are no different than what Megan shared on stage last week. And the assignments for this one is belief. You have to believe in what you're doing. People are going to see right through a charade eventually, right? So you have to believe in what you're doing, which means you have to have a story of some sort. You don't have to have a complete story either. So don't think you have to wait until the story is over to start telling it. You don't. Just start telling it. And that one thing that we can do as far as building belief is we can be a product of the products. I can share these products with people because I love taking these products. I'm a product of the products. I just don't miss a day with the products. I don't miss them. I love them. And the business opportunity too. I share that. Okay, let's see. We have some. I struggle with belief in the business. I believe in the products. Okay. What is it about the business that you struggle with, Liz? Is there anything specific that you struggle with in light of the business?
I don't have a problem with sharing things that I personally have experienced and love. Like, I got some orthotics from this really great shoe store. I'll tell anybody, any day, anything, go there. If you've got bad feet, go see them. They don't pay me anything. It's not that kind of marketing, but I would market for them. They wanted me to do a video because I ended up actually going from barely able to walk to running half marathons, with their orthotics. So, but I don't have that kind of experience with the business myself. So I have a hard time going, yeah, you could make a lot of money doing this too. This could be a good financial blessing. Because I think because I'm not there yet. So it's hard for me to say, well, you could. I haven't, but you could. I think I have a hard time with that concept. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. And I think that that's a good point to make. The thing is that some people start out in this business and they say, hey, I'm going to go for this business opportunity. You want to join me? And they do it without any experience at all. You don't have to do that either. When I started sharing, I shared the products. I shared the products. I believed in the products, and that was my story. I was sharing my story. Since then, my story has grown. And so I mean, you share what you're comfortable sharing. And, if you love the products, I would just share the products then with people. Okay. That's why I think we need to be a product of the products, because at least that's my experience, is that I shared all products for, I don't know. It took me a while to start sharing the business, actually, but I started by sharing products. So be a product of the products. Be a product of the products. Be taking your products, because we want to have integrity. with what we're sharing. Like Liz is saying, she's just not comfortable sharing the business part because she didn't have a business story yet to share, right? So I mean, as far as the products go too, we want to make sure we have integrity. We want to be sharing. If we're sharing the products, we should be taking the products. You know, I've had some guys call me before, like, yeah, I'm just going to start sharing, and then maybe I'll start the products after a while, after I make a bunch of money. And I'm like, I mean, I guess you could do that, but I just don't. What are you going to share? I mean, I don't see the integrity in that personally. So be a product of the products. Believe in what you're sharing. The second one is keep working on your list. You always need to be working on a list. It's not something that you just do in the beginning and then you're done with the list. A list is an ongoing thing. And you make a list of people like we talked about earlier. Once you reach out, and then maybe you'll move them to another list, a follow-up list, right? So you want to constantly be working on your list of people. I have a huge list of people still that I need to work through. And so you want to always have people, they call it in your funnel. You always want to have people ready to go. You don't want to be sitting here waiting on a message to come back from that one person that you think is going to change your life. That's just not the way it works. You're going to have to message them, and then you're going to have to move on to the next one. And your funnel is going to have to constantly be full, meaning your list is you have to constantly be updating your list. There's like, 7 billion people on the planet? With the free tools we have with social media and the internet and everything else, and even air travel, our funnel's not going to run out unless we quit putting people on our list. Unless we quit doing these things, we're never going to run out of people. And Shauna said she printed her Facebook friends list. That is a great place to start, is to print off your Facebook friends list. And that can be a list right there, ready to go. You might even have to, if some of them you know and some of them you don't know, maybe you can make a couple lists out of it, whatever you're comfortable doing. But that's a great place to start, is to print off your Facebook friends list. So that's the second thing. Keep working on your list. The third thing was reach out to people on the list. The list isn't going to do us any good sitting on our desk. I mean, the list is not going to call people for us or message them. So a plan is only good if you work the plan. So we have to be reaching out. And we talked about that earlier, and that's something Liz had mentioned earlier, that she's noticing the more you reach out and the more you talk to people, the more interaction you're going to have and the more success you can have. So we had to keep reaching out. The next thing was following up with people that you have reached out to. Okay, let's go back here. We have a question. So you ask for a referral you've never met. How do you word that? And do you ever message random strangers? I have messaged random strangers, and I've had random strangers message me from several different states, not even around here. How they got a hold of us, I have no idea. We had even a missionary from Mongolia contact us one time that we've never met, and said they're wanting the products and that the people that they're ministering to can afford the products and they would even like to sell them. So how did they get our name? I have no idea. So cold messaging, reaching out to someone you don't know can be fruitful. However, what I've noticed in this business is that being in relationship with people first is a lot more fruitful than just messaging 500 people you don't know a day on Facebook. It's better to build relationships with 20 people and reach out to them than it is to cold message 100 people that you don't know. Building relationships some of those videos and some of those things we read as far as the assignments throughout this month, a lot of it was on building relationships. So that's what I mean. This is a long-term campaign that we have. So building relationships is part of it. I've had over 30 random people friend request me today from that post. Maybe I'll message a couple and let you know. One of the things is if strangers are coming to me, I don't know, play around with it a little bit. I mean, what do you have to lose? You don't know them. So, if people are coming to me that I don't know, I'm more bold than I am with building relationships. They came to me. So if they're coming to me, I figure you're an open door. You're knocking on my door, and that's totally different ball game than me coming to knock on your door. Does that make sense? If a Jehovah's Witness, and if anybody is a Jehovah's Witness, I'm not like saying anything bad here, but in this area, they'll come to this area and they'll knock on our doors. When they do that, I feel absolute freedom to tell them what I believe when they start asking questions. I'm not necessarily comfortable going to their house, though, knocking on their door and telling them what I believe. Does that make sense? It's the same way kind of in the Facebook world. If they're friending you and you have no idea who they are, like I said, they came to you. Reach out to them. Say, hey, great thanks for the friend request. I look forward to connecting with you further. Have you heard of Plexus? See where it goes. Or just something, no, hey, thanks for the friend request. To officially introduce myself, I'm Liz and I'm a Plexus ambassador. What do you do? End it on a question. Try to create dialogue with the person. Maybe we don't want to run them off on purpose, but try to create dialogue with the person and see how that goes. Let's see here. So following up with the people you've reached out to, we have to follow up. We have to circle back around and follow up. Even with the people who said no, you do want to follow up with them eventually, or even the ones who have not even answered your reach outs. You want to follow back up with them. And the last thing, post on Facebook. Post on Facebook. Anybody post their very first Facebook post this week? Anybody? I figure I post about Plexus, Jesus, and my band. No harm in sharing those things. No, because that's your brand. That's who you are. You're just sharing those parts of your life that mean stuff to you. So, that's just who you are. And I think that's great. So, you have to post on Facebook. You have to get out there. You have to be known. You can't be an obscure person at home staring at a blank laptop wondering why no one is joining if you're not putting yourself out there. We live in a very fast, speed is king these days. Everything's super fast. Boom, boom, boom. Images. How many images do we see a day? These companies, they're ahead of us in light of marketing. It's like we're constantly bombarded with stuff. Why are they doing that? Because they don't want to be obscure. They want to dominate the marketplace, And how do you do that? By putting yourself out there and doing it consistently on a consistent basis. Here's a question. How long do I wait to reach back out to someone who liked a Plexus post I posted but didn't respond to my reach out? Would 1 week be too short? It depends on your relationship with the person. Don't necessarily be too eager. And if somebody likes a Plexus post that I may have, I may just reach out to them and just say, hey, thanks for liking my Plexus post. And that's it. I don't ask them to do anything. I just say, hey, thanks for supporting my post. I really appreciate that. And then just drop it. Not every conversation has to be a close, and not every conversation needs to be a sale, so to speak. You might just be building a relationship with that person, and some of these things you're just going to have to learn to feel out. But when someone likes on Instagram, for sure, these are complete strangers that they'll like my Plexus posts, and I'll just reach out to them and say, hey, I appreciate, thanks for supporting my Plexus post. Or, so yeah, let's see. Sending a Facebook message helps them see your posts more often too. Yes, posts are important, so people will see them. It's also important to be interacting with people on their posts. So one good way to do that is every morning, in the morning when you see, on Instagram. Okay. But it's the same way. You want to interact with people. I was talking with a girl who's built her whole business. She's a Diamond Ambassador. I'm good friends with her and her husband. Just this last week, I was talking with them, and she's built her whole business off of strangers on Instagram. She just has an incredible Instagram presence, but she said it's not necessarily your posting only, it's also you're interacting with other people. So we want to be interacting with other people on Facebook. On Facebook, one thing that you can do is in the morning, you'll see whose birthday it is that day. Just send them a quick message. Happy birthday, Liz. Happy birthday, Shauna. Happy birthday, Kathy, Shannon, Justin. You don't have to. Happy birthday. You should buy yourself some Plexus. We have a weight loss program this week, a 2-week. Don't do that. Just say, hey, happy, whatever. Just say, hey, happy birthday, and just be quiet. See, you're interacting with people. And then a lot of times when you like people's posts or comment real quick on someone's post, then you'll see more of their posts. That's just one of the algorithms that makes Facebook the way it is now. So yeah, you want to definitely be interacting. I don't understand Instagram that well. Well, there's one way to understand. That's just to get started. I would start with Facebook where you're at first, though. With where you're at right now, I would stick closer to your warm markets, the people you're already in a relationship with. Those are the ones I would reach out to first. I'd be working on those first, and then start building relationships with some of those newer people that you don't know so well, so that you can reach out to them next. That would be my recommendation. But you have to get yourself out there. We get made fun of all the time for our Facebook presence, our Instagram presence, our whatever. By friends, by family, we get made fun of all the time. We've been called a lot of really bad things. But we have a clear conscience about what we're doing. We're excited about what we're doing, and we're just not going to let other people's opinion hold us back from where we're going as a family. And Plexus is that vehicle that's taking us to where we want to go. So we just keep posting, and some people have unfriended us. Some people have unfollowed us. Some even close family members have unfollowed us, unfriended us. It is what it is. It tells me more about them than it does about me. One thing that this business has done for me is it's shown me who my friends are and who my friends are not. And if you can get that figured out in life, you have just became a wealthy human being. You became a wealthy human being. So let's see. I'm going to 20-something-year-old and make them teach me their Insta ways. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Let them teach you their Instagram ways. I think that's good. We always need to be learning. And we're constantly learning. We're learning a lot of new things. There's several different things I'm still learning in light of this business. So you always want to be learning. Well, those were the assignments. So let's see. What do we have? We have the last drawing. For the $50 this week. And for those who have won and I haven't sent the checks out, I just haven't really been home, but I will send all of them out tomorrow. So don't think I'm trying to rip you off. I was talking about integrity earlier, so I'm not gonna forget about it. Has anybody gone silver at all so far? This close. Liz is that close. Shauna had 2, I know. How many do you have, Liz, so far? 2. Okay, one more. Anybody else? Shauna needs 1. Well, here's what I'm going to do for you. So I was going to do anybody who went silver throughout this challenge, I was going to put you into a drawing for an extra $100. So I was going to double your silver bonus. So we have 1 day left in the month, which is tomorrow. So here's my deal. If you go silver before the end of October, I will double everybody's silver bonus. Not just one person, but anybody who goes silver. By the close of business tomorrow, I will give you an extra $100. So go and get that done. Get that done. It's possible. If you haven't signed anybody up yet, you have all the tools that you need to do it. You have 1 whole day, 24-hour period to get that done, and you can do it. You can do it. There's a lot of people out there waiting for you to reach out to them. They need what you have. So be encouraged. Be bold. Be bold. And go out there. Anybody have anything before? Oh, I have the 2 people. So Victoria is one of the drawing winners this week, and Shannon Strode is the other. There we go. So should I tell Bill that you won or not? No? So there we go. So you guys are the winners. Anybody have anything before we sign off?
It might go to fixing our son's truck, so.
That'll work. So that's all we have, guys. It's been great, and like I said, all the tools really that are needed have been shared at some point in time throughout this challenge. The tools that are needed to succeed in this business have been shared. So go and use them. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be glad to help in any way that I can. I really, I want to see you guys succeed and meet the goals that you've set for yourself, whatever those goals may be. So I believe in you, and you can reach out to me anytime. I will chat with you guys soon.